Dear researchers, scholars, and my friends, I welcome to those who believe in the power of their dreams and who would like to join me in my exploration of how to be an effective listener. Listening is not a skill, it is a discipline, says Peter Drucker. To reiterate Dean Jackson, listening is an art that requires attention over talent, spirit over ego, others over self. No matter what position you hold in life, your success will be determined 5% by your academic credentials, 15% by your professional experiences, and 80% by your communication skills. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand, but we listen to reply. Hence, in this video, we will talk about the mantras for being an effective listener. We spend more time listening than we do speaking, reading, and writing combined. We listen to the radio, to television, to compact discs or iPod, to our family, friends, colleagues, strangers. The list is enormous. Of course, just because we spend most of our time listening does not mean we get better and better at it. Listening does not automatically improve as we get older. In fact, the longer we practice ineffective listening habits, the harder it is to change. Becoming aware of the role listening plays in our lives is the first step to becoming a more effective listener. How much of our time is spent listening? Is most listening active? Our mind is engaged and we are really thinking about what we hear. Or is it passive when we let sound or words float by without responding to them? In this video, we'll try to explicate the mantras for the enhancement of the listening skill. The mantras that will facilitate us to become effective listeners. Most people think a good communicator is to be someone who can speak well. Speaking, however, is just a part of the total process of communication. In fact, listening is the most important skill in the process of communication. While highlighting the importance of listening, reviewers say it has been estimated that of the time adults spend in communication activities, 45% is devoted to listening, only 30% to speaking, 16% to reading, and a mere 9% to writing. The listening skill serves as the basis for the development of the remaining three language skills. Moreover, as Kinder observes, improvements in listening support improvement in the other language skills. Hence, as Carnegie states, listening is the single most important of all the communication skills, more important than stirring oratory, more important than a powerful voice, more important than the ability to speak multiple languages, more important even than a flair for the written word. Good listening is truly where effective communication begins. Good listening is a prerequisite for effective communication. A good communicator is always an effective listener. But who is an effective listener? Shastri notes an effective listener is one who has developed the ability to attend thoughtfully to spoken discourse, to grasp the meaning intended by the speaker, and to respond critically to the total impact of the talk or address. The effective listener does not get lost in a verbal fog. He is intensely involved in a conversation. He is genuinely engaged with the speaker's ideas. He questions the speaker's ideas, responds thoughtfully, or gives his precise and concise comments on the speaker's viewpoint in the form of a responsible critical judgment. He displays his active involvement in a conversation by an occasional nod or expression like I see, or by shifting postures or leaning forward in the chair, or by shaking his head, or giving a smile to the speaker, or with eye contact. Strong eye contact inspires confidence in the speaker. Carnegie mentions strong eye contact is another way of indicating your conversation mate. Yes, I'm listening closely to what you are telling me. Why are some people better listeners than others? It is certainly not something you're born with. An effective listener learns and practices good listening skills by following some mantras or techniques. The first mantra: master the lexicon. The world is ruled by words. An effective listener is one who has mastered the lexicon. Effective listening stems from the listener's high language proficiency in general and wide range of vocabulary. In particular, the effective listener is competent and understands the idiosyncrasies of the speaker's message, both the literal and conveyed meaning of the spoken words. That is why words are the most important ingredients in the recipe of language. Second mantra: keep awake and be focused. An effective listener always tries to focus on the speaker's words. Physical and psychological distractions like disturbing noises either in the audience or outside the room, or building distance of the listener from the speaker, inadequacy of audiovisual equipment, etc., do not lure his mind away from the speaker and his subject. The time of day does not make any difference in effective listeners' receptivity. Now, the third mantra: listen more and speak less. Diogenes say, we have 2 ears and one tongue in order that we may listen more and speak less. Surprisingly, listen and silent are spelled with the exact same letters. An effective listener always listens more and speaks less. In this way, he shows his reverence for the speaker. Moreover, as Carnegie notes, listening is one of the best techniques we have for showing respect to someone else. It is an indication that we consider them important human beings. It is a way of saying what you think and do and believe is important to me. Mantra 4: seek first to understand. The deepest hunger of the human body is air. The deepest hunger of human heart is to feel understood, valued, and respected. Sincere empathic listening feeds and satisfies that hunger, says Covey. Covey states that most people do not listen to the intent to understand, they listen with intent to reply. They are either speaking or preparing to speak. They're filtering everything through their own paradigms regarding their autobiography into other people's lines. He further comments that the case with so many of us, we are filled with our own rightness, our own autobiography. We want to be understood. Our conversations become collective monologues, and we never really understand what's going on inside another human being. Through empathic listening, the effective listener gets inside the speaker's frame of reference. He looks out through it. He sees the world the way the speaker sees the world. He understands the speaker's paradigm and he understands how the speaker feels. Mantra 5: attention please. Professor Ralph Nicholas talks about hop, skip, jump listening. It is like trying to listen to two football games broadcast at the same time over different radio stations. We switch our attention from one station to the other at various intervals and thus stand a good chance of missing important plays of both games. Most of the times, we do not give attention to the speaker and miss out the most important gist of the speech. Shantaram observes very few people concentrate completely when they are listening. Because of this, they become distracted. They got lost in their own thoughts. This is sometimes called going down Route 350. The human mind processes words at a rate of approximately 500 a minute, but we speak about 150 words a minute. So the difference is between the two is 350. When listeners switch off, the chances are they are on route 350. An effective speaker is focused and attentive. He never diverts his attention from the speaker's speech and ideas. Imagine a situation in which the listener is mentally absent for the first 10 seconds. When the speaker is speaking, can the listener understand the remaining speech? Yes, it will be difficult for the listener to comprehend the speech. There will also be a difficulty in the comprehension of speech if the listener is inattentive in the middle or at the end of the speech. To know the speaker's speech, the listener must be attentive. In brief, one must take an active part at every stage of oral communication in which he is involved if he wants a worthwhile experience. Now, the sixth mantra, one thing at a time. One thing at a time, and that done well, is a very good rule. As many can tell, goes an adage. An effective listener does not allow himself to be distracted. He goes he does not ever indulge in partial listening. He never combines listening with other activities. Some people try to combine several activities such as flipping through a book, looking for a letter in a file, signing documents, arranging papers on the desk, and so on while listening to someone. Rarely would a listener do justice to the speaker with such active courting distractions, notes Monipalli. Thus, effective listener becomes a good communicator by following the mantras. Wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would rather have talked, says Mark Twain. Thus, the present paper tried to prove that the effective listener becomes a good communicator by following the mantras. Practicing of the mantras imparts confidence in the listener. He starts understanding and interpreting correctly what other people say to him. By this effective listening, he gives us the speaker a feeling of confidence and self-worth. To conclude, in the words of Alan Locos, honor your relationships by developing listening skills. The world is giving you answers each day, so learn to listen. Thank you.